inspect a septic system with a cursory look and say it's working great, this is the problem. What does inspection mean? Do you dig up part of the tile bed? Do you send a snake down to see how well, it's expensive, and this is the issue. Plus, we're dealing with the county. That's part of the county's responsibility. So it's not just land and shores.
Oh, it's not just land.
No, the county is responsible for waste management and inspection. So it's, but you can make it mandatory. But what is inspection? That's the question that has to be asked.
Okay, thank you.
Other questions from the audience? State your name.
Yeah, Ernie Lane from Grand Cove Estates. I believe you said you want to have a workshop on November the 28th in the Legion. I got a couple of concerns about that. I think it's a good idea. But what about the seasonal people who aren't here around November, or even the snowbirds who might be away? And as far as the question and answer period, you know, it was a great discussion, but the thing is, before people go to a meeting, would you have a way to let people know what, you know, a draft or what you're going to be presenting, so at least they can think about it before they go to a meeting? Or after your meeting, could people, just like you do for the PICs that they've had, that you'd have 30 days or so many days to, after meetings, to maybe fill out a questionnaire so that they can review it? You know, I think it's important because I've been involved in a couple of associations that when a lot of the people, the seasonal people aren't here, you can get a lot of slack from them because you'll get that in the spring. You know. Okay?
Okay, maybe Team 5 will make a note of that and see if they can accommodate somehow. No, we want to wrap this up by the new year. Some of us are going to Florida. Arizona.
No, but you can't really, the trouble with the seasons, the trouble is this ad hoc committee is set up right now that November's the earliest you can do this. You know, it's definitely not hanging around to July, so there'll be some absentees.
Yes, state your name, please.
Arthur Lake. As a relative newcomer to the area, I think Grand Bay could do well to have perhaps a redesign of the welcoming committee for new people arriving in the area, because that's been lost a bit. A lot of new people coming in, and in that process, information about septic tanks or whatever could be handed out to them for free, and just as part of a welcoming to the town.
What area do you live in?
Southcott.
Southcott? Okay. We're taking a model of Huron Woods, and we have, at the last board meeting, created a welcome committee. So I guess you missed it, but in the future, yeah, we will do exactly what Huron Woods does and indicate two big issues, and that is Schedule A, restrictive covenants issue, and the septic system. So that's coming. Yes, state your name, please.
Bill Billington from Deer Run. What do you plan, or how do you plan to address issues in associations or in areas where we don't have an association like you have in Southcott and Huron Woods? That's my question.
Do you see any way, Adrian, or Ron?
I don't know. I live in Area 4, but I'm in Van Domen subdivision, and they did have an association, but they disbanded that because we got a pond, and the association was going to be held liable if somebody drowned in the pond. So there's a lot of people who didn't want to be associated with it. You'd almost have to start an association in your area to get it going. So that, you know, that there are people out there now, and there is information, you know, on how to look after these things. But as far as setting up a welcoming committee, you know.
But it's more an idea of how do you plan to communicate with those areas that don't have an association?
I'll tell you, I'll be brave. Dave and I just had a meet and greet at the Legion in Grand Bend. Some people attended. And I think that's up to council. There are councilors right now, where there aren't associations in big areas like Deer Run or Van Dongen, to have meet and greets and disseminate that type of information. We haven't done a lot of it, Dave and I, because we've just been so busy with other stuff, but definitely as this huge thing comes off the table, the treatment plant comes off the table, it will give us more time, and that's what we should be doing. As counselors, we should be up there saying, here's the latest. We've also talked about it at the municipality of perhaps having a CD. We're in the process of rewriting the noise and nuisance bylaw and bringing in a good neighbor bylaw in January, looking at that with kind of like an omnibus bylaw that talks about dogs, tidy yards, noise nuisance, the whole thing. And that could be put on a CD and with every, I don't think that's terribly expensive. It could go out with your tax bill at some point, or you can just have it out at meetings. We shouldn't be acting like a city here. We're not that big. And we should be able to get information out to people and hear back from them on how we're doing in a fairly expedient manner. We're not talking the city of London here. So we should be able to do that.
But your question is how you'll find information about what's going on here, right? Is that what you're trying
Well,
to get at?
what do you as a group plan to do to make sure
That you get the information?
That's right.
Well, he's talking about that last week, and I guess.
We're going online, right? We're going to have online.
Either that or maybe send out a notice in their water bill or something along that line, that, you know, if they get done on a regular basis. We all do that.
Just to answer the gentleman's question, there's a group of us on this committee that is charged with exactly answering the question you just raised. It's called the Communication Task Force, or Task Team. It's going to look at how to communicate the results of this committee out to all of the Zone 3 and 4 residents. And last week we had a general discussion by this committee to look at different ideas, and we recognize we're going to have to do a multi-pronged approach to get the information in the hands of every resident in this area. So stay tuned. We'll get to the answer soon, because we have a group looking at it right now.
I have a good alderman.
Yes, question in the back. State your name, please.
I'm new to the area as well, but I was going to suggest, I mean, the
Your name, please.
Oh, Sean Hunt. I live in South Cop Pines, on Grand Oaks. The municipality, I've come from from Middlesex Center. I've paid to have a tertiary system put in the last 5 years. I've done a traditional system in the last 7 years. But this municipality is so much more organized and so much more progressive at the municipal level, and the website is great. If we organize all these educational materials and sort of things like that in really good quality on the municipal website, I know that doesn't reach everyone, but if they're there, then the associations can print off and distribute it through their members, and they're all sharing the same information, and we're developing quality information at the source. Then it could be printed off, or if they're videos, they could be shown at open houses, things like that. But eventually, you were saying, you know, new people are coming from the city and they don't know about septic systems and things like that. Well, those people coming from the city know how to use a website and know how to find their information on the website.
It's only if you have a website.
Well, what I'm saying
I
is,
got rid of my computer 3 years ago because of the garbage on there.
okay, but
How are you going to get to me?
through Carl and through somebody in Huron Woods or whoever your association is, I'm saying they can print those materials and make them accessible through their community, or the Legion, or the Rotary, any of the community groups. But I'm saying if everybody's developing their own information and trying to develop their own information, I don't think the quality of the content will be as good. And there are a lot of really good resources out there, like on wastewater. Ontario Clean Water Agency has a lot of rural programs already, so that we could. I just say continue on with the website, because it's for the people. I'd say for the people who are living here who aren't retired, that are working elsewhere. I can barely make the meetings as it is, and when I catch up on all these things is at work, on my lunch hour, from the website, because I don't want it mailed to my door. That isn't a good cost or good use of my tax money, but it could be distributed through other organizations that way as well.
Mr. Chairman, could I ask him how we're doing so far? Are you encouraged, discouraged?
Well, I should tell you, I started out wanting to build here, and I wasn't ready to do it because of the uncertainty. But I wanted to live here enough that I did buy resale, and I'm committed. So.
Good for you. Good. Good.